The first time she appeared on the edge of the docking bay, Commander Elias Rourke had no idea what he was in for. He was used to anomalies in deep space, rogue transmissions, errant cargo pods, unauthorized AI drones, but nothing had prepared him for her. She stood alone amid the cold hum of Helix Station's outer docking perimeter, a silhouette that shimmered like a heat mirage. Her uniform, or whatever passed for one, was unfamiliar, almost alien in its design, yet it carried the insignia of the United Galactic Coalition. "I'm looking for Elias Rourke," she said. Her voice was low, deliberate, and commanding. "I'm Elias Rourke," he replied cautiously. "How do you know me?" Her eyes, sharp and impossibly green, locked onto his. There was no hesitation, no uncertainty. "You're coming with me." It wasn't a request. It was a demand. Elias stepped back, hand hovering near his sidearm. "I don't know who you are. I'm not going anywhere." She smiled faintly. "You don't understand, but you will." Before he could respond, a security drone buzzed overhead. She raised her hand, just slightly, and the drone hesitated, then retreated. Elias frowned. This wasn't standard protocol. She wasn't just confident. She was in control, almost of everything around her. He had two choices, resist or follow. His instinct screamed to resist. Something about her felt wrong, yet every fiber of his being felt tethered to her presence. Over the next few hours, Elias learned a few things. She was called Lyra Senn, though no records of her existed in Coalition databases. She claimed to act on orders from a branch of the Coalition that didn't officially exist. Her knowledge of Elias's career was impeccable, missions he hadn't even recorded publicly, contacts long gone, decisions he thought had been forgotten. Most disturbingly, she insisted on alone time. Not for interrogation, not for discussion. Just him and her. "There are things only you and I can understand," she said cryptically. When pressed about her motives, Lyra offered no explanation. Every question about why was deflected, often with a soft chuckle that unsettled him more than a threat ever could. They left Helix Station aboard a vessel that Elias hadn't been cleared to board. It was small, sleek, and impossibly fast. As they cruised past asteroid belts and uncharted star systems, Lyra revealed fragments of information, enough to tease him, but never enough to satisfy curiosity. "You're essential," she said at one point, her gaze fixed on a swirling nebula outside the viewport. "Not for what you think, not for what you know, but for what you are." "I don't understand," Elias said. "I'm a survey commander, not a secret weapon or whatever you think I am." Her lips curled. "You will." Days passed. Elias's curiosity battled with his fear. He wanted to question her motives, but every time he tried, she shifted the conversation. She was unpredictable, alternating between intense focus on their mission and sudden, almost playful distractions, a game of chess projected on the holographic table, a spontaneous recalibration of the ship's engines. It wasn't until they reached the Cerulean Rift, a region of space where light itself bent unpredictably, that the first real danger appeared. The rift was unstable, full of gravitational eddies and temporal anomalies. Instruments went haywire, time readings fluctuated. Elias panicked. "We shouldn't be here. We can't chart this. We don't even know what's real." Lyra remained calm, almost serene. "I know it's real," she said. "And you'll need to understand it too." A sudden shockwave rocked the ship, throwing Elias against the wall. He groaned, disoriented, as Lyra pressed a hand against the console. The instrument stabilized, the readings returning to near-normal levels. "How?" he whispered. Elias couldn't find words. He had glimpsed the infinite, and yet the woman who had demanded him was still standing there, simple and real, next to him. "You may never fully understand why I demanded you," Lyra said, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "But you accepted it. And that's all that matters." He looked up at her, finally seeing not just the enigma, but the intent behind it. She had risked everything to bring him here, not for power, not for glory, but because she recognized something in him that no one else could. "And now," he asked. "Now," she said, taking his hand. "We return. We report. We survive. And maybe, just maybe, we learn more together than either of us could alone." For the first time since she appeared, Elias didn't feel fear. He felt trust. And something deeper, something he didn't yet have words for, a connection forged not by choice, but by circumstance, and by the courage to follow the unknown. They left the rift together, the core fading behind them like a secret kept between two beings who understood its weight. And as the stars streaked past the viewport, Elias realized something profound. Sometimes, a demand isn't a threat. Sometimes it's an invitation to courage, to discovery, to partnership beyond comprehension. Lyra had demanded him, and he had chosen to follow. Even without fully understanding her motive, he knew one thing for certain. He would do it again. The stars stretched infinitely ahead, and for the first time, he felt ready to face whatever mysteries waited in the dark. "I told you," she said softly, turning to him with an intensity that made his heart race. "You'll understand." The deeper they ventured into the rift, the more strange phenomena they encountered. Shadows moved against light, sound distorted, and Elias began to feel different. He couldn't explain it, but a part of him felt as though he was being pulled apart and reassembled simultaneously. Lyra, however, was unaffected, or at least appeared so. She guided him through the distortions, her hand occasionally brushing his shoulder, steadying him. Eventually, they reached the center of the rift, where a massive crystalline structure floated silently, refracting the light of nearby stars. Lyra called it the core of understanding. "This is why I brought you," she said. "You are the only one who can access it." "Access it? For what?" he demanded. She stepped closer, her face illuminated by the shifting lights of the crystalline core. "Because this is beyond the coalition, beyond any species. It's a knowledge construct, an entity that chooses its interlocutor carefully. And it chose you." Elias felt an intense pressure in his mind, as if the structure were reaching out, scanning, judging. He staggered. "Why me? I'm not special. I'm just human." Lyra's gaze softened. "You are human. And that's exactly why it chose you. You're capable of empathy, reasoning, fear, courage, all in the right balance. No machine, no alien intelligence could interact safely with it. Only you." Elias realized then that her demand, her insistence on bringing him here, wasn't personal. It was instrumental. "Was that all along your motive?" he asked, his voice trembling. Lyra shook her head. "Part of it. But not everything. I was curious. I've followed you for a long time because your instincts are rare. You make choices for reasons others can't anticipate. That's why I needed you specifically, not just any surveyor." Together, they approached the core. It shimmered and rippled in response to their proximity, and Elias felt a wave of understanding wash over him. Thoughts, knowledge, and memories not his own flooded him for brief moments, enough to feel the magnitude of what they faced. Lyra held his hand, steadying him. "It will only show you what you are ready to see," she whispered. The core accepted him. Visions of civilizations rising and falling, knowledge spanning millennia, and truths about space-time itself passed through his consciousness. It was exhilarating and terrifying. When the experience ended, He fell to his knees, gasping. "You did it," Lyra said softly, kneeling beside him. "We did it."